I'm Paul from IMT, and I'm here with Sean Wallitsch from AWS. And Sean, we've been hearing a lot about Deadline Cloud from AWS. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, absolutely. Happy to hear that you've been hearing about it. So AWS Deadline Cloud is something that we built after supporting our current product, AWS ThinkBox Deadline, for quite a while. AWS ThinkBox Deadline is now a product that has been in the market for 20 years. And over those 20 years, we've heard a lot from customers about what they love about ThinkBox Deadline and what they saw as room for improvement. And at AWS, we love listening to the customer. And so we listened to the customer and we took a stab at developing a new render scheduler and management software for the cloud from the ground up.
Okay. Well, that sounds great. So, we have a range of clients who use Deadline. It's very popular. It's obviously, market leader. So is this Deadline in the cloud, is that applicable to smaller studios?
Oh, absolutely. So we also have a broad range of customers using Deadline 10, as you pointed out. And what we did with Deadline Cloud is we took a look at the broad range of those customers and their specific needs when it came to deploying and managing a render scheduling service. And so for small studios, we needed to have ease of use with a quick and fast setup of their render farm and low ongoing maintenance burden. And for larger studios, we needed a lot of configuration options and the ability to completely customize their pipeline at every step of the way. So specifically, we've actually created two different fleet types in Deadline Cloud. And what we have is we have something that we call service managed fleets. And those service managed fleets are a managed service from AWS. And what we do is we handle all the worker instances that would handle your render needs. And we do the patching and maintenance and base image of those things to run your jobs. And so from Deadline 10, that's a big change, because if you're trying to render on the cloud in Deadline 10, you are spinning up a bunch of AWS infrastructure that you might not be familiar with how to maintain and manage, and that can be a large burden for customers. So we created that managed service so that we can relieve that burden of them and let our customers focus on creating great content.
But for larger customers, so they have their own, they need the flexibility of their own managed fleets. Is that capable under Deadline Cloud?
So absolutely. So the other type of fleet that we have is called a customer managed fleet. And those customer managed fleets are infrastructure that's entirely within your AWS account. So whatever you can do on AWS, you can do in a customer managed fleet. You control the machine images for the workers, you control what software is installed on those workers, you control how it is configured and hooked up with your infrastructure. So any type of storage you have, any type of connection with your on-prem facilities, you can do it all with a customer managed fleet, because it is just another part of your AWS infrastructure.
That's great. Now, one other aspect that always comes up is licensing. So how is this affected by Deadline Cloud?
So if you're familiar with Deadline 10 licensing, we had usage-based licensing, which lets you buy buckets of licenses before you needed them. So you would estimate how much you needed of a specific software license, and then you would go buy that software license from the ThinkBox marketplace. We heard from our customers that estimating that amount of license usage was a difficult task for them. And the last thing they wanted was to have render hours left at the end of a project that they hadn't used. Well, with AWS, we're all about elastic pricing and pay as you go. And so we took that and we applied it to usage-based licensing. So we have a variety of products from our favorite DCC software vendors. And we now have usage-based licensing that is fully pay as you go and fully elastic, where you will get a bill at the end of the month listing a line item of that software that you've used, how many hours you used it for, and the pricing for that, just like any other AWS service on your AWS bill.
Oh, that's great. And that helps to be able to allocate specific render costs to a specific project as well, right down to the cent.
And Deadline Cloud also has a full usage explorer for exploring those costs and slicing them up in different ways. So you can see exactly how many hours of each DCC you use, and you can even slice that up in different ways, to the point where you are using how many hours of Nuke you use versus how many hours of Maya you use. You can also change it so that you're looking at the actual cost of each piece of software, and so you can see, I used 1,000 hours of Nuke rendering and I used 1,000 hours of Maya rendering.
Now, another aspect I was hearing, and you can tell me if this is the case, is that as opposed to in the past, you could get your cost, you could look at cost of the floor, but there's always a bit of a delay. But with the Deadline Cloud, you get more immediate kind of expense of what you're doing.
That's right. Now, the engineers don't like me using the word real time, so I'm not going to use the word real time, but it is awfully close to real time. It's awfully close to real time. And the point of that is just that we wanted to enable our producers and financial personas to be able to see costs as they were happening and to do whatever they needed to do to get those costs under control. So there's a variety of budget actions that you can take. So you can apply a budget to a specific queue and then say, well, when we're within $500 of this budget, I want to take certain actions that are enabled inside the Deadline Cloud Usage Explorer.
Okay.
And that lets our producer personas to be able to do things like say, oh, if I hit this budget, and this is the budget that I hit, I want to stop scheduling new renders. Finish the current jobs, because by all means, you don't want to shut them off. But when someone submits a new render, it's going to submit on hold, and it's not going to increase your cost. That's just one action that's available. You don't have to use it.
Yeah, no, it sounds like there's a lot of capability there and ways to analyze that. One thing that's come up a lot over the last year with, it's been a turbulent time in the industry, is, the like you mentioned, scalability.
Right.
And, there's always a limit to what you can scale down in the sense of, things have servers. And, I guess one of the advantages with cloud is being managed services, it is capable of scaling down to basically zero.
That's correct. So with Deadline Cloud, with both customer managed and service managed fleets, when you're not rendering, you're not paying. The Deadline Cloud portions will scale down to absolutely zero if you are not currently rendering anything at all. So the scheduler, the database, all that stuff is behind the managed service on AWS. So that allows our customers to not pay when they're not rendering.
Well, that sounds great. We're looking forward to rolling it out for our clients and customers are interested in rendering with Deadline. And so thanks a lot.
That's great. I look forward to seeing what you and your customers do.
Thank you.